What's up? My name is Xavier and I have here the Samsung Z Fold Special Edition. Now, I'm sure that you've already seen at least a couple of videos on that phone and how it compares to Samsung Z Fold 6 released earlier this year. But I'll bet you they didn't fly to South Korea like I did to go pick one up. Curious how that went? Oh, don't worry. You're about to find out. Okay, so this is the little envelope they gave me to put the receipt in. Even that feels like a presentation. Like, this whole experience just felt special. So you can see how much I paid in won right there. I think it came out to like a little over 1900, and then they gave me a $200 tax refund, or almost 200. So for a little more than 1700 versus out here in the States, I think it's like 3 grand. But yeah, I don't even know if they give those type of envelopes and whatnot stateside. Like, most of the time I'll be buying them online, so maybe I'll have to swing through a Samsung store and see. I don't know, they be tripping on their color options available though. Like, most of the dope colors you have to buy online. Okay. Now I don't know how many of you bought the original Fold or the Fold 2 or 3, but I remember when they used to come in a big box like this, and I mean, it felt special. Like, I think it was the Fold 2 that actually, like, the box actually unfolded. Like, it was pretty sick. Now we just get this thin box with the phone and the cable, and they think it's good enough. Like, look at this. It comes with a case. There's no reason why we shouldn't be getting cases with our phones. I mean, they're, you know, almost $2,000. Some are more than $2,000. Like, it's crazy nowadays that you can buy a phone and it not come with a case. Like, even like the S24 Ultra or the iPhones for that matter, it should come with some form of protection on day one, so you don't mess around and drop your investment. And I mean, that'd be a disaster. Yeah. Now for me, usually I'll get like a tempered glass screen protector and a case, and that usually arrives the day before my phone gets here, so I'm not dealing with that. But I'm just saying, like, it still should be a norm for us to get a case. It's a struggle just to get a charging brick. Okay. Just call me DJ Special Edition. Or DJ Fold Special Edition. I don't know. Okay. Look at this. A charging brick. I can't tell you the last time I can remember getting a charging brick from a Samsung. I know that Vivo I bought came with a charging brick, even though I can't use that thing stateside. The Samsung charging brick, that is. Oof. Man, they hit that crease. That is next level. That is so sick. Okay. This thing feels so light. Come on, phone, turn on. Come on, you're failing me here. Not in front of everybody, they're watching. Let's try to see. Really? Now it turns on? This thing's already being a drama queen. But it feels good and it looks good. Man, this thing is light. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay. Let's have a little comparison here. Now, me personally, that crafted black still looks so sick. It looks better in my opinion. But man, I wish it was as wide as the Fold Special Edition. That front display is crazy. So I didn't fly out there specifically to buy the Z Fold Special Edition. In fact, I actually had the tickets in the beginning of the year, long before the Z Fold Special Edition was even announced. But since prices online, eBay, which is also online, are like $3,000, I figured, well, since I'm already out there, let's just buy this thing from the source. Okay, so with that out of the way, I fly into Seoul, come out the airport. First thing I notice immediately, the temperature. For those of you who don't know, I live in LA. It was in the 30s in Seoul. Now, I was prepared. I did bring a heavy coat and whatnot, but it's one thing to look at the weather forecast and see the number versus to go outside and to feel that number. Like there was snow on the ground, and I did miss snow, but not the cold that comes with the snow. I mean, ugh. In the Uber ride, I decided it was going to be best if I stopped at a Samsung store on the way to the hotel. And that's largely just because I had seen online where people that were ordering the phone were experiencing delays. And it'd be really unfortunate to be in South Korea, have a chance to order the phone, but due to delays, not be able to actually get it in time. That being said, I showed up to the Samsung store and it was pretty amazing. Like it was 4 different levels. I mean, the first one was like mobile, second floor was computers, third floor was appliances, and the fourth floor I think was service. But it looked really cool. And they had a special edition Z Fold like in a glass case. And then they had the display area where I finally got to put some hands on it and play around with it, and it was just as cool as everybody said it would be. So I'm there, right? And finally getting a chance to see and hold this new Z Fold Special Edition, getting excited. Of course, the first thing I notice is how wide the screen is, how light the phone is, and also how thin it is. And so, like, I'm just immediately ready to just go ahead and put money down on it. The Samsung reps, they're kind of selling me on some of the things that it has, which I already know because I've done the research. And everything seems like it's going according to plan. And I'm like, I'm going to walk out of here today with this Z Fold Special Edition. And the rest of the trip is, stress free. Wrong. So the Samsung rep is telling me all of these things, and I'm just like, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do it. Trying to like keep the excitement suppressed. And he's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and see if we can ring you up for one. He's talking to his manager and then immediately turns back and says, we don't have any. And of course, me, still optimistic, I'm just like, okay, no problem. When do you expect to get some in stock? And he gives me this gigantic window. He's like, well, it could be 1 day or it could be 2 weeks. And of course, then I'm like, well, I'm going to be out of here in like a week. So is there like anything we can do, any other locations that have some in stock? Like, what can we do about this? And so he's just like, well, just go ahead and buy the phone now. And when we get one in stock, we'll go ahead and email you. And then you can just come back. And if you end up getting ready to leave beforehand, just come in the day before. We'll refund the order so you're not out of the money. Great plan. Like, it puts me a little bit at ease, but at the same time, the thought of leaving South Korea without a Z Fold Special Edition would just be this massive failure. So I'm optimistic, and I go ahead and put money down on the phone. I leave. Case closed for that day. Fast forward to the next day. Now I'm at this amusement park, which none of the rides are working because there's snow and ice on the ground, but there's also a zoo, and I'm like checking out the pandas, and the email comes in. Your phone is here. So immediately, weight lifted off my shoulders, and all the nightmare scenarios in my head of me flying back to the States without the Z Fold Special Edition, gone. So the minute we finish at the amusement park, we book it back over to Samsung so I can pick up the phone. I know I said with the Z Fold 6 that I didn't mind the width of the screen, and I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me. But after spending a little while with the Z Fold Special Edition, man, is that front screen nice. Like, it is. It's a difference too, because like with the Z Fold 6, it's doable. It's okay. Versus Z Fold Special Edition, amazing. Like, definitely how it should have been. I also didn't realize just how much I was going to appreciate how thin the Z Fold Special Edition is. Now, I never really thought the thickness of the Z Fold 6 was going to be a deal breaker. But man, does that Z Fold Special Edition just feel great. I guess I am a little worried because I've been looking online and I know that it almost seems like the Z Fold Special Edition is kind of a test bed for the Z Fold 7. So I'm hearing that the same display is going to make it over. Maybe not exact same, but the measurements, the thinness, like they're shooting for that. But does that mean that we're going to sacrifice the S Pen? Because that's going to be a problem. Well, we've talked about the front of the phone, talked about the side of the phone. Should probably talk about the back as well. The back of the Z Fold Special Edition is definitely different. Now, I don't know if you call these ridges or it's ribbed or or something, but it definitely follows the top and side of the phone as well. And I get it. Like it makes it more grippy so you won't drop it. But like I'm a car guy, so I'm gonna favor the crafted black option for the Z Fold 6 because it's got like a carbon fiber vibe going. So I'll take carbon fiber over ribbed any day. Man, that sounds horrible. Ugh. I should have a blooper reel on this because some of this stuff just doesn't even sound right. The internals for the Z Fold Special Edition are interesting. Let's start with RAM. Z Fold Special Edition, 16 gigs. Z Fold 6, 12 gigs. I didn't feel one bit of difference. Not at this stage. And as for batteries, they're the same. Charging speed, the same. Cameras, now there's a change. Now, the Z Fold Special Edition, 200 megapixel main. Z Fold 6, 50 megapixels. But the rest of the cameras, the same. Let's talk about those cameras for a second. Now, during the duration of this trip, I had one Z Fold in one pocket and one Z Fold in the other pocket. And I was simply just trying to do a camera comparison test. And same thing for video.
All right, here's a test of the Z Fold 6 and the Z Fold SE. Just going over clarity and all kinds of BS. Maybe not BS, I should have left that part out. Okay, again, a test with the Z Fold 6 and Z Fold SE. Crossing the street. There we go.
Allow me to explain. Now, the 200 megapixel camera did take nice pictures, very nice pictures, but it didn't compare to the Vivo. On top of that, it really didn't blow the Z Fold 6 out the water hardly at all. Like, I'm going to show you some pictures, and I guess unless you're like zooming in, like pixel peeping, like it really didn't make that big of a difference. And some of you might hear this and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I did multiple comparison tests and just was showing my friends and just like, which picture looks better? And a lot of times they look the same. Or maybe this one's a little bit brighter. Or if this one did this. But it wasn't like the Vivo where I would show people a picture that I just took of them with that phone. And they were like, blown away, like clutching pearls, like, whoa, how did that happen? Like, the Vivo was shocking. And the special edition is nice, but I guess the best way I can put it is just I was so hype based off of that 200 megapixel, just the number compared to 50, that maybe my expectations were let down. That's probably the best way I can put it, because the pictures still look good. And there are some that do look better than the Z Fold 6. It's just not by a mile, not by what I was thinking I was going to get, which was an image quality like the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. But, you know, maybe that's just my ignorance. Let's talk about some of the things that you probably haven't heard too much of from some of the other people reviewing this phone. The first issue we're going to talk about are the accessories. Now, I'm a case guy, so carbon fiber case, a Gundam case, Godzilla, Speed Racer. Like, I will get cases on cases on cases. If I find one that I think looks really sick, I'm about it. Well, with the Z Fold Special Edition, that habit got kicked hard, like cold turkey. Yes, it comes with a case, but good luck finding any other ones. Like, you're going to be cruising through AliExpress, eBay. You're going to be on there for a minute. Tempered glass screen protectors, especially the ones that have the privacy screen. Good luck. I think I've seen the film at best, but trying to find a tempered glass one is pretty difficult at this point in time. The next issue, unfortunately for me, was one that I couldn't really overlook. So you just bought your new Z Fold Special Edition, right? You're on top of the world. You want to bring that thing back to the States, show off your phone that most likely not a lot of other people in this country are going to have. You might want to protect it. It's a good thing to have Samsung Care. Except for Samsung Care in the US doesn't cover it. You would have to get Samsung Care in Korea. And there might be some contract language issues there to where if it gets damaged over here, like they just might cover it. Or you might have to ship it back to Korea. Or just wait till you go back to Korea to have it replaced. Getting the Korean variant of Samsung Care is a little bit of a process. And I tried. I tried a lot. I called Samsung Care. It's just, okay, so for starters, you need a Korean phone number. You need I think it's a Korean resident registration number. And this is just to get the process started. And I tried every loophole. I got a Korean phone number. I tried every loophole I could think of to try to make this registration number work, and I wasn't successful. So, and even then, like I said, if you were able to get all of that working and you take the phone back to the States and then something happens, it's a toss-up on if they're actually going to cover it. So you have a $2,000 or $2,200 phone that I guess right now the resale is towards $3,000. And if you damage it, then you're not getting anything for it. And you may not be able to get it repaired. So, okay. Let's think long term here. So you keep the phone for a year. The new Z Fold 7 comes out. Looks just like it, except for now you can use the S Pen. Everybody knows that the Samsung trade-in program in the States is amazing. But that's in the States, right? I'm sure there's other areas around the world that have good trade-in policies and whatnot for Samsung. But the Z Fold Special Edition came out as a Korean exclusive. I mean, yeah, there's the W25 that's in China, but good luck finding the Z Fold Special Edition on that little trade-in drop-down menu. And by that point, it's too late. Because, at least in the States, most people that would be after a Z Fold 7 aren't going to give two craps about a Z Fold Special Edition, especially if they can't insure it. And now it's going to have the S Pen. So it's a bit of a gamble. I guess if you want the latest and greatest now, then go for it. But if you're planning on keeping it for a really long time, then it still might be beneficial. But if you're one of those people that likes to have a new phone every year, unless you're going to keep that one as a collector's item, you might be out of luck come the next Z Fold release. So not only did I have issues with Samsung Care, then I had issues with Samsung Wallet as well. So those of you that have had a Samsung before, they have Samsung Pass that like stores all your passwords and whatnot. And I guess now they're doing an upgrade to where it goes into your wallet. But I can't upgrade that to my Samsung Wallet because I need a Korean phone number and the resident registration number. So I don't know if that's going to create any issues down the line since I can't do the adequate upgrades, but just something to keep in mind. So with this being said, like in my head, I'm still thinking this is an amazing phone. Like don't get it twisted. It's fire. But I would like to get it back to the States and see, if I could put a T-Mobile SIM card in there, check out what my download speeds are, my reception, just get the full experience. And then just 2 days before I got ready to come back, South Korea went into martial law. The warning signs were there. I saw a couple of protests. They had giant, it was like tour buses, like what you would see like rock stars or pro wrestlers, like tour buses labeled police on the side. And they were getting out by the busload. And there was probably, in this one area, I think it was like 20 to 25 giant tour buses filled with police officers. Like, it was crazy. And then there was an event, and there was like a bunch of people with signs, and they were yelling, and there's people on the stage, and they were giving some sort of speech. It looked like it was going well, because they kind of did the hand-in-hand, like, celebrating thing at the end. Like, it seemed like it was a pretty big deal. And I think I got a video of that, so if I do, you're going to see this while I'm talking about it. And then I think the next day I was going past the police station that also had this like older kind of like ancient looking building. It was kind of sick, but there was clearly like older like military vets there and they were also protesting. And so, I see a protest, I'm in a foreign country, I'm out because I don't know, what's going on, what they're yelling about. But I know that if anything hits the fan, especially being right beside a police station, I don't want to get caught up in that. So I dipped. And then that night, martial law hit. So at that point, like It's a little unnerving because you don't know what exactly is going to happen, especially looking at some of the things that have happened in mankind's history under martial law. It's like, okay, I'm just going to stay in my hotel room. Like, I'm going to wait this out and then get on the plane and I'm gone. Thankfully, martial law was lifted. I think it was like 6 or 7 hours later. It was pretty much like as the sun was coming up, it was like, okay, we're good now. The trip was amazing, but that last day there was definitely tense. Like, especially if you're following all of the world events and their neighbors to the north and how they've been acting. It was just kind of like one of those things where it's like you're like hyper aware about everything, looking for warning signs, and just being prepared to just get out. But thankfully, nothing crazy happened. Made it back to the States safe and sound. So, all in all, great trip. I really like South Korea. It's fairly high on my list of places that I've traveled to. All right, let's get back to talking about some Z Folds here. Now, the Z Fold Special Edition in all of its glory, and it is a sick phone. I don't know if that wide front display and how thin it is enough to justify getting it. At least for me, because the 200 megapixel camera, it didn't deliver in a way that I hoped, because the Z Fold 6's cameras seemed like it was right on its heels. And take that with the same size battery, no increased charging speed, and a lack of an S Pen, and not to mention not being able to insure it with Samsung Care or to update it with Samsung Wallet. And I just don't know if it's good for me. If I was planning on keeping it for the next 5 or 6 years, that might be one thing, but especially hearing all of the rumors that are going down with the Z Fold 7, it just seems like, at least for me, I'm more than content keeping the Z Fold 6 and just waiting a year and getting most of those updates in a Z Fold 7, because it's probably going to have the same camera and the same display and all that stuff, but hopefully I'll have the S Pen, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, as always, take care.